Welcome to Conversations with Jeff Bucknam. Jeff Bucknam is the lead teaching pastor at Harvest Bible Chapel. I'm your host, Tommy Kreitz, and we are going to get into some conversation today because everyone has a story. And before we get into that specific conversation, there's a lot going on. We just had Thanksgiving, which was delicious and great. I know that you don't particularly love Thanksgiving food.
Me?
You, yeah.
Yes. I'm not a big fan of the mashed potato.
Really?
Nah.
Is it the texture?
It's just some people they whip them to death, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They turn them into some sort of cream of wheat.
Yeah,
I'm not a big
cream
fan
of wheat.
I'm not a big fan of the mushy mashed potatoes. But if you throw garlic in a mashed potato and you keep it a little bit chunky,
yeah,
I'm in.
Elevates it.
Yeah, it does.
Well, we hope all of you had a great Thanksgiving. And there's a new thing that's coming out. I watched it a little bit online. It's called the Metaverse. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
And Mark Zuckerberg.
Yep. From the brain of Mark Zuckerberg comes your future.
That's right. The brain of Facebook and all of the good and amazing things that brought to our life. Now we have something on the horizon.
All right, describe the Metaverse.
So the Metaverse
They changed the name of their company to Meta.
Yeah, so the parent company now is Meta, and Facebook exists.
They're all in.
Under that, yeah. Like they rebranded a huge company.
All right, and their symbol is like an infinity symbol.
Yeah. It's very futuristic.
It is very, very weird. Anyway, Metaverse, what is it?
It's not launched yet. It's still in, production. There's still, and the technology just doesn't exactly exist yet. So they're working towards it. But essentially it's going to be this entirely virtual reality space.
Yeah.
World.
You can go online and you can actually watch the video that they did is kind of like a commercial for it.
Yeah, it's like an hour.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to be honest. It's basically you sitting virtually in a room with other people who have made themselves look like whatever they want. Like you can be a fish or you can be a monster, a dragon. Yeah. You can do whatever you want there.
Yep.
And you sit in this room with them. And now here's the crazy part. You talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you basically are sitting virtually in a room.
Yes.
Talking.
Yes.
Instead of sitting in a room actually and talking.
Like this.
Yeah, you're going to sit virtually in a room and talk. Yep. This is your future, folks.
It's the future.
Yeah. Hovering around the Axios in space, getting fat while you see things on your video screen.
That is a movie. That's a movie, WALL-E. Yeah. So it has like a marketplace where you purchase whatever. I'm sure they'll monetize everything.
Purchase?
Decorations for your virtual reality house. Your spaces.
Really?
The craziest, it's kind of like, they called it meta because it actually is super meta, right? They have, in the virtual reality, you can watch a TV on your virtual house wall in virtual reality.
Why?
I have no idea. Why wouldn't you just watch?
So from the brain of Mark Zuckerberg comes the real world.
The real fake world. And then if you have to venture outside for some reason, you can get special glasses that it's something called augmented reality, which kind of gives you, pops up on in your glasses.
Yeah, like Google Glass for a while there. That you can walk around and you can video everybody you're talking to with facial recognition software.
Yeah, so basically you'll always be connected to this virtual space, which is just terrifying.
I need to know whenever my name is mentioned anywhere on the internet, ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And
don't you?
No, yeah, I so need.
It's going to be really helpful. It's going to be really healthy for all of us.
Yep, it's going to.
Oh my word.
Self-image is going to go up. For sure, none of the problems that exist with social media now will be amplified.
Oh my world.
It is
my world.
Yeah, it's going away.
All right.
So that's a thing. And
come Lord Jesus.
Yes, before that, please. And is that anywhere in Revelation, Jeff?
I'm sure that there's a way for us to shove it in there. Yeah. Isn't that the way we use Revelation?
That's right. We'll just shove it into one of the symbols.
Yeah. I'm sure it's the mark of the beast.
Yeah. Well,
everybody thinks
everything's the mark.
Is the mark of the beast. Yeah.
My goodness.
There was a lot of years though where people with the Book of Revelation were like they tried to identify, that this is Gorbachev or this is it was always the Russians, right?
Yeah. It's always the Russians.
It was. Now I've heard people Putin and
Yep.
The North Korean stuff. I heard people talking about how Trump was the Antichrist for a while.
Yep.
So anyway, I don't even know.
Changes every couple of years.
Why read the Bible in its context? There's no need.
To prove a point, of course.
All right.
But yes, we have a conversation that's coming up today. We do.
Yes.
With Jennifer Abbatacola, who is the Senior Director of Campus Life and Harvest Kids at our church. And she has a story, and we are going to have a conversation.
It's a fascinating story.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a conversation about it right now.
Difficult circumstances.
Yeah.
So be ready for this one.
Yeah, here we go. Let's get into it.
Well, here I am with Jen Abbatacola. I said it right again.
Correct.
Jen Abbatacola.
Good job.
And she is the first woman who we are interviewing on this podcast. Mm-hmm. You are what's the first woman who's done a lot of things? I can't think right now. You are the Hillary Clinton of our podcast.
Good. Love that.
Anyway, it's great to have you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. I'm really excited to talk to you a lot. You have quite a lot of things I have questions about. First of all, you need to tell people who don't know who you are and what you do here at Harvest Bible Chapel and for how long you've done it.
Well, I am 54 years old, and I have 5 kids. I love the Lord with my whole heart. That's what I want people to know first, and His Word. And I've been on staff here for 15 years, went to church here in the 90s, then moved around the country, then moved back here, and came back to Harvest, and then the next year came on staff. So I've been on staff since 2007. And I'm a single mom, and I come from a great legacy of beautiful Christian people.
Well, I'm going to ask all sorts of questions about all of that.
Okay.
In the coming moments. First, where are you from? Like, where's your home? What do you call home?
I grew up in Prospect Heights, Illinois, which is just a little bit north of the Rolling Meadows campus.
Okay. So this is kind of have you always lived in Chicagoland?
Except for I went to college. I went to Liberty University in the 80s.
Who doesn't?
Well, nobody did then.
Oh, okay. So you were like the trailblazer, just like you are with a podcast
yes.
here. Okay. You went to Liberty University. Why did you go to Liberty University?
I liked their rules. I was really afraid of going. I wanted to go to college. I'm the first woman in my family to graduate from college. And I wanted to go to college, but I didn't want to deal with cleaning up my roommate's puke because they got drunk or walking into the dorm room and they were in bed with their boyfriend. So I wanted to go to a Christian college with all the rules.
Okay, but you chose Liberty and you had to deal with all that anyway.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know anything at all about
Not
Liberty
in the
University.
80s. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you grew up, though, in Prospect Heights.
Mm-hmm.
And you are, how many kids or how many family members do you have?
I am one of 4.
Okay. Youngest, oldest?
I'm the oldest girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
So mama. You're like the second mama.
Yeah. Natural born leader. Yeah. Went to Wheeling High School, got a great education. District 214 in the state of Illinois is really great. And grew up in a wonderful Christian family.
I think I ride my bike through Wheeling.
You could.
I do. When I go from my house, sometimes I ride to the Rolling Meadows campus. I think I go through. Would I go through? I live in Barrington. I wouldn't do that. That's too far. Further north is Wheeling. Mm-hmm. All right, but northwest suburbs. That's your jam.
Yes.
Okay. Except for those few weird years at
college.
At college. Did you come to faith in Christ as a little girl, or you said you've come from a history of a lot of lovely Christian people? Yeah.
The day before my 6th birthday in 1973, I was sitting in children's church. That's what we used to do during church after Sunday school. And
wait a minute. You had Sunday school and then you had children's church. Mm-hmm. So was there ever a moment that you'd be in church?
Not until we got into middle school.
Oh, okay. Was that like a bit of a shock when you got there?
Well, we were excited. we got to grow up and
Go
get out
to
of
the
children's church.
How long did the excitement last? One Sunday?
I loved going to church.
Good for you. That's awesome. That's great. I can imagine most kids are like, wait a minute.
I really
waited
loved
for
it.
this.
Yes, no, I loved it. So I come from generations of beautiful Christian people who love the Lord, but I still had to make a decision for myself. So on March 28th, 1973, I was sitting in children's church, and as the Holy Spirit does his work, he pressed down on my little heart, and I knew I didn't have a relationship with God, and I raised my hand, and I walked to the back of the classroom, my little black patent leather shoes, and down the tile hall, and sat on the second step of the back steps of the church and gave my heart to the Lord. And it was real. He's never left me. He's been nothing but good to me and faithful to me, even in hard times. And I've had plenty of them in my life, disappointments. And I have no regrets of following Jesus.
That's great. What kind of church was it?
A Bible church. It was called Mount Prospect Bible Church.
So like a non-denominational kind of church? Or is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, typical 1970s, growing up in the Midwest.
So describe typical 1970s growing up in the Midwest. Like describe your life in the 1970s growing up in the Midwest. Cold all the time.
I love it here.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Illinois.
Even the cold.
I love the Arctic. I love the snow.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you love the summers?
I do.
Okay. Do you love the spring?
I do. I love
and the fall?
I do. I really love life, Jeff.
I know you do.
Yes. A little bit of a fundamentalist upbringing. Like I couldn't play cards. I couldn't go to movies.
Did you ever play cards or go to movies anyway?
Not till I was older.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not really.
Couldn't get my ears pierced. Couldn't wear makeup. I had to wear a dress to church.
Okay.
Could wear jeans to school on Fridays.
Oh. Did you like Fridays because you could wear jeans to school?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Mm-hmm. My parents had calmed down by the time my baby sister came along 11 years later. So she had a whole different set of rules.
Yeah.
And they started playing cards and everything. So it
Oh,
was
my
okay.
goodness.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you good at cards now?
Well, I am a highly competitive person.
Okay.
So I love every game. I played pinball on Saturday night and loved it.
This Saturday night you played pinball.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There's a pinball machine
At
still
Woodfield
somewhere
Mall.
in okay.
Yes,
there is.
lots of them. Led Zeppelin, Kiss,
Oh, my word.
Ghostbusters. Yeah, all of them.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
god!
I used to play it in the basement of Randhurst Mall. I used to play all kinds of arcade games. I loved them.
Okay, but that was after your family kind of opened up to it. You weren't the kind of kid who would go and sneak into Randhurst Mall and play pinball and listen to Kiss.
Mm-mm. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I memorized 800 Awana verses, and so I earned a radio because you got points for memorizing Awana verses so that I could listen to WLS and listen to secular music in my backyard laying out. So that was my big rebellious streak.
Okay. Backyard laying out.
Laying out, getting tan in the summer.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's how I
That
got
was the
introduced to secular music.
Okay. Who's your when that happened? Okay. Before you got into secular music, what bands were your thing? Any
my
like
first concert
non-secular?
ever was Amy Grant at Great America 6 weeks before she got married.
Wow.
That was my first concert ever. Then after that, like my parents took us to the Gaithers.
Do you like the Gaithers?
I appreciate them.
Wow.
I think he's probably a lovely man.
That's a Jen Abbatacola no right there.
There's something sweet about all of it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
have you listened to the Gaithers? Sweet is not a word I'd use. The Gaithers. God bless them. Yeah, no, that's good. So your first but secular band, when you first kind of started getting into it and you listening to music, what year was that?
Probably 1981.
1981.
1980.
All right, who did you?
Sean Cassidy.
Did you have a
huge
crush on him? Sean
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Cassidy? Who didn't?
Yuck.
I mean, I didn't.
God bless him, but you know.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So you went to college, Christian college. You enjoyed liberty, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay, you hesitated there. Why did you hesitate to answer that? Were there things about liberty that you struggled a lot with, or is it largely a good experience?
It was good. I have beautiful friends from that I'm still friends with. I have friends from every decade of my life.
Wow. You still keep up with all of them? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of them.
That's great. What was
I'm very blessed.
What was your degree in?
Journalism.
Wow.
Public relations. How to solve problems in crisis.
Why?
Which I love.
Why that? Why journalism?
I wanted to have an impact on the world,
Okay.
and I was curious. And I really loved public relations, which I think now is probably more like image management or branding management or something like that.
Back then, it wasn't that.
Mm-mm.
What was it?
If there was a crisis, you got called.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I use it. Like you analyze, plan, implement, and evaluate every problem.
Okay.
So that's how I solve problems, even in my personal life.
Right. So it's been that whole thing has been helpful.
College was great for me. I'm a huge fan of college.
Yeah. Did you like when you got done with college, were you planning on going into journalism, or you wanted to go write for a newspaper, or?
I wasn't that good at it. And so,
when did you come to that realization?
When I kept getting red marks on my papers. So,
and they said at the top, "You're not very good at this."
Well, I couldn't avoid not saying my opinions.
Okay.
And so back then, you didn't put your opinions.
You'd be perfect now.
I know.
That's all they ever do.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I graduated, and I thought I was going to get married, but I didn't. So I just tried to find some temporary work.
So when you said you thought you were gonna get married but didn't,
Mm-hmm.
was that because generally you thought, hey, my life's gonna go like this and I'm gonna end up finishing college and then I'll find a guy and marry him, or is there a particular guy that you thought?
No, there was a guy. Yeah, and so I just tried to find some temporary work, and then that didn't work. As I was working, the relationship ended.
Okay, were you engaged?
No.
Okay, but it was on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, the possibility.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you?
I think I was 22.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been a massive shift, right?
Yeah, it was heartbreaking.
What did you do to deal with that?
I
at that
didn't.
age?
I didn't deal with it. So
What does that mean?
I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any tools to deal with it.
So after you've been through it, what would you tell somebody who's 22 years old and whose love of their young life has
Dump them?
fall apart, or dump them or whatever?
Yes, dump me. I would say to go get help from a professional
Okay.
and don't make any big decisions.
Yeah. Did you make the big decisions?
I did.
What
Yeah.
were they?
I started a company.
That was your rebound. This company. What was the company?
I sold and created graphic design products. It was the beginning of desktop publishing. So
Okay.
before that, it was very traditional in typesetting.
Yeah.
So I knocked on 600 doors my first year, and I medicated myself through being a workaholic,
Yeah.
and built a company and had employees and office space in Oak Grove, and I loved it.
Wow.
I love being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Mm. It's very much in my blood.
Knocked on 600 doors. Now, when you say that, I'm assuming there are some people who are listening right now who are thinking to themselves, that is the worst thing I could have ever imagined doing.
Mm-hmm.
Cold call.
Mm-hmm. Walk in.
Okay, give me the mindset that you have when you walk up to a door and you're going to knock on the door. Are you just the kind of person who just doesn't care what they think?
I think that when you're driven to succeed, you have to not care about several things, and that would be one of them.
Okay. Give me your spiel. Hi there. Thanks for interrupting our dinner. Who are you?
Yes. Well, it was businesses.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still.
Mm-mm. I think when a 22-year-old young college grad walks into your business, you'll take her card.
Okay.
And talk to her.
Yeah.
So I said, this is what I do, and I'll deliver tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
How much do you charge? What do you pay?
Yeah.
And they would tell me what they paid, and I would take it. It didn't matter what it was. So there were times I worked for $7.50 an hour.
Wow.
And there were times I worked for more.
Yeah.
And there were jobs I screwed up and jobs I didn't. And, It was great. I loved it.
So
it was so fun.
Well, the entrepreneurial kind of spirit requires that kind of hustle.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. And that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, starting a business and stuff is just hustling.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out places and ways that you can do it. It's church planting, similar. Like you just got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So how long were you doing this?
I did it for 16 years.
Oh my word. So that I mean, that's a pretty big rebound. But were you involved, did you ever deal with the grief that you had or not?
Yeah, I think over the years I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I got super involved in my church, my home church, and I started a singles ministry.
Oh, wow.
And young adults ministry. They used to call it singles ministry. Yeah. I taught 3-year-old Sunday school. And so I had a room of 40 children, and I would cry and they would hug me.
Why would you cry?
Because I was so sad that they would comfort me.
I see.
Yeah. And so I just got super involved in my church.
3-year-olds can be a help in those kinds of situations.
The Lord was good.
Yeah.
Super sweet. And then
why 3-year-old Sunday school? Why
because they needed someone.
They said we need a 3-year-old Sunday school teacher, and
So
you're like,
it was
I'm
me.
in.
Yeah. So
That's great.
yeah, and I don't especially like young children. So my sweet spot is when they turn about 10 or 11, 12 years old.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
And
Why?
Probably we can do fun things together that are
a little more content,
Yeah.
a little more, yeah.
I'm not made for young children.
Okay.
So I have friends that just love babies, and my kids call me the baby whisperer because I can really calm babies
You
down.
can make them quiet.
Yeah.
What's your trick?
I whisper in their ear how much Jesus loves them.
Oh, there it is.
And then I sing certain songs that I sing. So I sing to my kids in Swedish and English. And so sometimes
Whoa.
So,
You sing songs in Swedish. Were they by ABBA?
No, they were songs about Jesus. My
Mama,
grandparents
yeah.
and parents taught us. We would all
Your
be
grandparents taught you. Do you know Swedish? Like
not
all just the
fluently,
songs?
Just the songs.
Okay.
A few things. Like
You don't have
Tack
to
Samika.
do this, but can you sing me the beginning of a Swedish song?
No.
That's
I
the line.
could,
You
but
can ask me some questions already, but that
I
right there
don't
is the
sing in
line.
public. Yeah, I don't sing in public.
Okay. Even if you stood behind me in church, you wouldn't be singing.
Oh
in
no, I
public.
would totally sing with the group. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but not. I'm not going to sing.
I am absolutely
the
going to
world.
find you. I'm going to stand behind you in church, and I'm going to.
I'm not going to.
And then I'm
going
going to ask the
world.
worship team to play a Swedish song so I can sing in Swedish. That's awesome. You sing Swedish songs and English songs to little kids, and it just calms them.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Well, all you young parents out there, give it a try, because you know what it's like when they're young
Yeah.
parents. You're like, I don't have any idea how to make this kid be quiet. So
Well, one of the best songs for children is by Fernando Ortega. Do you remember him?
I know the name. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's Jesus, King of Angels.
Okay.
And it's really beautiful. It's full of great truth for children.
Yeah.
And so that's a beautiful song to teach children.
That's great. So you're in this business for 16 years. You must think you're 38 or so by the time you're done with it. Are you are you thinking while you're in this business, this is what I'm going to do for my life?
Yeah.
Was there ever a point in the business where you were thinking, I'm just doing this for the time being, or you were like, no,
I
this is
loved it.
okay.
Yeah, I loved it.
You still keep your hand in some of that?
No.
No, not at all. Why did you stop doing it?
So one of my groups of clients were big and tall men's clothes shops throughout the country. And it's a very special line of clothing. And it was direct mail.
Okay.
A lot of my work was direct mail when that was a thing. And so after 9/11, the 9/11 attacks became anthrax.
Oh, yeah.
And so the mail was stuck in the postal warehouses.
Yeah, for those people who don't know, the anthrax is a substance that supposedly some people were sending stuff through the mail.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a real freak out by a lot of people about, oh my goodness, the mail's going to be.
Yeah,
it's a
and that put a
terrorist
lot of those small businesses out of business.
attack. Okay.
And I remember when I had accounts receivable and all of that. And I remember when I got my last dime of my accounts. I had never been at zero in accounts receivable before.
Wow.
And I got my last check.
And so you could, so did you close the business largely based
it.
upon it's not going to make it anymore?
Yeah, I had moved. So I got married in 1992 to Mark. And then,
well, I want to ask you about that too.
Yeah, so we moved around the country with his job.
Okay.
And so we were in New York
Yeah.
on Long Island living when I got that last check. And I was able to, my clients followed me everywhere. So it was great.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about how did you meet Mark, your husband?
Mm-hmm. I was 12, I think, and he was 15.
Whoa. Okay, that went a different way than I thought it would.
At Bible camp at Silver Birch Ranch in the North Woods of Wisconsin. So there were predominantly 3 churches, Moraine Valley Emmanuel Bible and Mount Prospect Bible from Chicago.
Yeah.
Tinley Park, Berwyn, and Mount Prospect that went to this camp.
Okay.
And he was from Berwyn, which is right on the west side of the city.
Okay.
So he's kind of like a city boy. And I was from Prospect Heights, growing up around farms. And we had this great big group of friends. And I knew his brothers. And so we all would go to summer camp. And then during the school year, all the guys and some of the girls would pile in cars and come up to Mount Prospect for Sunday night church, and then we would go out for pizza. And so I remember seeing him, and I liked his friend, whose name is Eric, and so he would bring Eric up because he could drive, and we would go on double dates. He was dating this girl named
But he was
Kathy.
the other guy. He was dating somebody else, and you were with Eric.
Mm-hmm. I hardly talked to him.
Okay.
And I didn't really totally know him, but we rode in the same car together.
Okay.
So,
Way back when.
yeah. So he went through a rough time in his life, and I went to college. He went into the military, and he went to the first Gulf War.
Yeah, early 90s.
Mm-hmm. And he gave his heart back to the Lord standing in the desert.
Oh, wow.
And came back to Chicago. Everybody was worried about him,
Why?
because everybody loved him and they knew he had had a hard time in life. And so I said, one of my friends was talking to me about him, and I said, well, I'll take him out for lunch and see what's going on. And so...
Okay, was there any kind of... was that just a friendly thing?
Oh, yeah, there
Just
was
platonic?
no interest in
Okay.
nothing. Ever. He was not my type in any way.
Why not?
Too wild, too much of a past.
Okay.
It just wasn't, everything just no chance ever. But we met at Bailey's Restaurant on Arlington Heights Road in Arlington Heights, and we laughed and got along and enjoyed each other and started dating. And
You would have been surprised after that first meeting.
oh yeah, shocked.
Were you shocked because he was different than you remember, or just shocked because you just never really gotten to know him? And all of a sudden you're like, wow.
I was shocked that I was attracted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My wife says that to me every day.
Does she?
Yeah. I'm shocked.
I understand that.
I can see that. Okay. So how long did you date?
We dated from April of 1991, and then in February of 1992, he asked me to marry him.
Wow.
And then
How
we got
did he
married
ask?
in
Okay, but how did he ask you to marry him?
We went to Bicentennial Park out in Evanston by Northwestern University along the lake,
Okay.
and he asked me. He
No,
surprised me.
Nothing big though. Like it wasn't like a.
Well, that wasn't done then.
Yeah.
You just asked someone to marry you.
Yeah,
like
it
it wasn't
way
like a
more
Hollywood.
simple. Yeah,
Yes.
totally. Like now it's. Like,
Well, now it's moved on
Let's
to
make a movie.
homecoming. Homecoming, I know. Like, gosh, it's a lot.
it is a lot.
Yeah. If I ever get married again, I don't even want to be engaged.
Yeah.
I don't want a wedding. I want a wedding. I want to get married, but I don't want to be like,
Yeah.
it's a production.
Yeah,
It's
no kidding.
crazy.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you were married to him for how many years?
Just short of 25.
Yeah.
So he passed away in July, and we
Yeah.
would have celebrated 25 years in December.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you about that. You guys had, At some point along the way here, you guys started getting involved in ministry, though. It sounds like you moved around. Like, why did you move around? What was his work?
Well, he always wanted to be a pastor, even when we first got married.
Oh, wow.
I didn't totally understand that when we got married. And I said, I'll never be a pastor's wife, and I have no interest in being in ministry, ever. It's never happening. He kept trying to be in ministry, didn't work out. And so he went and applied for a job at the airlines at O'Hare. He was in a really desperate place in his life where he was like, what am I going to do? Yeah. And I said, what do you love?
What was he trained to do? What was his, just military? Yeah, okay.
I said, what do you love, Mark? And he goes, I love airplanes. I said, well, then go to the airport and don't come home until you have the job you want. Yeah. And he went to the airport and came home with the job he loved.
Which is the job?
He just worked for an airline, it was called Great Lakes. It was part of American Airlines. And then he was working on his degree, and he met some people from American, and they were hiring, and they hired him. He loved it. He loved working for American, and came home one day and said they want to transfer me to New York.
Okay.
And I'd never been there. And
well, you'd only ever lived in Virginia for a few years.
And Chicago, right? And so I said, okay.
That easy?
Yes.
Really, Jen? Mm-hmm. Not even a hesitation. You're like, all right, New York, sounds good.
No, I cried because I was okay, I'm leaving everything I know.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do what the Lord wanted me to do, and I knew like I wouldn't lose if I did that.
Yeah.
So we moved to New York.
Long Island.
Long Island. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And then we were there for 4.5 years, and then we moved to Indiana, outside of Indianapolis, with American. He was the GM of Indy. And we lived there for 4 months, and then they wanted to promote him again to another GM in Raleigh.
Wow.
So we moved to Raleigh, we lived in Cary, North Carolina, which is right outside of Raleigh. And I loved it, and I never wanted to leave.
Okay, before we get any further, best thing about Long Island, New York? Best thing. When you look back on it, you think, I really like that part of it.
The neighborhoods.
Okay.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Just
it was Mayberry. It was Mayberry.
Stuff like that, like the setup and the look of them, and yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was great.
Best thing about just outside of Indianapolis?
The house I lived in. So
Why?
I went from like 1,200 square feet and 4 children and a dog and 1 bathroom to this enormous house because he got a pay raise, and it wasn't Long Island.
Yeah.
And we took off our shoes at the front door and went running and screaming for this beautiful house. It was like a movie. It was really something. We didn't have enough furniture. We didn't have anything.
Yeah.
But it was great.
It was. Mm-hmm. And then the best thing about Cary, North Carolina?
Reuniting with my college friends.
Yeah.
And going to their church, and we helped them in their Sunday school class. They taught seniors in high school how to defend their faith before they went off to like UNC.
Wow.
And so this was Tim and Charlene, and just the greatest people. And put me on a journey that I'll never forget, of just loving God's word. So she convinced me to go to a Bible study, which was verse by verse through Romans.
Yeah.
And I learned how to study the Bible in depth by myself with 500 other women.
Right.
And I loved it.
It's like a joy and discovery that you get. It's like a treasure hunt. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness.
The pastor of the church stood up one day and said, I'm really tired of people telling me what Christians believe who never open the Bible for themselves. Yeah. And I gasped, and I was like, that's me. And he just taught straight from God's word contextually. Yeah. So I just started getting up early and spending hours in God's word every morning. Couldn't get enough of it. And I'm so grateful. So
when you say you spent hours in God's word, you were using curriculum though that was from from your church, or were you? Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes people with the verse by verse stuff. There's different ministries that do it, Simeon Trust and Precept and other ones. Were you using stuff like that, or were you just sitting down and reading the Bible?
Well, this husband and wife would study Romans verse by verse, and they had some kind of training in God's word in the languages. And then she would teach the women, and he would teach. So on, I think it was Monday nights, he would teach 500 men the same portion of Romans that they had studied the whole week. And they did this book by book by book of the Bible. And she would teach women Tuesday mornings.
That's great.
And we would have our small group time first, where we would go through it and share, and then we would go be taught. So we couldn't be regurgitating what she said.
No, that's right.
We had to. It was great.
So you had to do your homework.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I loved it.
That's great. Was that kind of your first foray into ministry in that regard? Like you started thinking, oh, I could see myself doing something like this.
Never wanted anything to do with it. We argued for 18 years about him being in ministry. Never wanted anything to do with it. There was no way.
Okay, why did you change? What changed your mind then?
So he got a call. We came back to Harvest. So then we moved back to Chicago. And I said, why would we move back to Chicago?
And
he said, he was standing on the landing of the stairs, and I was standing in the foyer, and we were looking at each other, and I said, I'm not moving back to Chicago. And he's like, yes, we are. We're moving back to Chicago. And I'm like, well, I'm not living in Prospect Heights. I'm not living in the northwest suburbs. And he's like, okay, but we're moving back to Chicago. And so he got recruited from American to United after they came out of bankruptcy, and we moved back to Chicago. And then he wanted to come back to Harvest.
Where'd you live?
Well, we were looking. So we were living at my parents' townhouse looking because we didn't want to live apart.
Yeah.
It wasn't good for the kids. And so, we just crashed at my parents' townhouse, and United put all our stuff in storage. Yeah. And so we looked, and then he settled on Hampshire, and I didn't want to live in Hampshire, but he did. And so he was a good Italian. He got his way. And so we built a house in Hampshire, which is a farm town 14 miles west of Elgin, which is where we're sitting now. Yeah.
Okay. But you got to design your own home.
Well, he designed it.
Oh, he designed it. Jen, I find it difficult to believe that you didn't have a voice in these matters.
I got to pick out the appliances for the kitchen.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right. You still live in the house?
I do.
Yeah. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point, so you come to Harvest Bible Chapel. Why did you choose Harvest?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
And you were cool with it?
No. I said, I'm never going to that church.
Why?
Just because I don't know. I can't tell you exactly why.
It just didn't have the feel for you in your gut. But you guys ended up coming to Harvest, and I'm assuming you started to like it?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very much. I love the people here.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're
but
precious.
Your husband at some point started into ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Was he before you?
No, I came on staff in 2007, June, and he came on staff to start a camp, a day camp in the summer, like a VBS.
Yeah. And
to help out in children's ministry.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he came on to staff here.
Family Ministries in March of 2008.
Yeah, March of 2008. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did you guys, so you worked together for several years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was good. Working together in the same church and building and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't great working together.
No, I imagine.
It wasn't.
No, it would be hard.
But I loved helping him.
Yeah.
So I loved being a wife, and I wanted to have a career and be a wife.
Yeah.
And so I loved helping Mark. Anything I could do to help him, I wanted to do.
Okay.
I wanted him to love what he was doing. His dream was coming true. He wanted to be a pastor. I wanted to help him do that. And I wanted to use my gifts to help him in any way I could.
That's great. What was what kind of pastor was he? Pastor of?
Family Ministry. So he had birth through college.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And you were kind of working in the part of that setting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you need to talk to me about your husband's death was sudden.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very sudden. Like was a healthy guy.
Mm-hmm.
So
he took really good care of himself.
Yeah. If you don't mind just sharing in however brief or long you want, how did his death come about?
So we were at, my parents had a lake house in Door County that for 20 years. Door County is like north, it's in Wisconsin. There's a peninsula that shoots up into Lake Michigan. And it's known as like the Cape Cod of the Midwest. It's just really beautiful and quiet. And so he actually didn't like it there. And he doesn't like lakes. He was, my parents got him like his own TV and direct TV, like anything to keep him happy. They were very sweet to him. And so we were there in 2017 for the 4th of July. And I mean, Jeff, I could go on and on for hours about all of this and what the Lord did and the whole story. So just because I'm being brief doesn't mean that there isn't 1,000 stories to tell, because there are. Yeah. But I'm just going to be super brief with that, if that's okay. So we were out in a kayak, and we were coming back in, and we were almost to the pier, and our 2 youngest children were standing on the shore, and then another couple in their early 20s who just a couple of weeks before they were supposed to get married were standing there in the water. And I was sitting in the front, he was sitting in the back. He said, "I can't breathe." And I heard a splash. And he was a big jokester.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was joking.
Yeah.
And the kids everyone thought he was joking, but then soon realized he wasn't joking. And again, 1,000 details.
Yeah.
Right. But he passed away. It was instant.
Wow.
And my sister and I gave him CPR, and the young man that was about to get married was pumping his chest.
Yeah.
And I called, like, I remember like stepping over his body and running up the grass, up the pier, up the grass to my kids, and only 2 of them were there. One was on the West Coast, and 2 others had just left on a pontoon boat. Yeah. And I grabbed Tommy and I shook him, and I pointed to his dad and I said, "This changes nothing about how you feel about God. You will love Jesus every day of your life, won't you?" He's like, "Yes, Mommy." I said, "Say it louder." And he said it louder. And I said, "Promise me. I want you to promise me. Say it louder." And I was shaking him. My greatest fear is that my children would walk away from the Lord.
Yeah.
So I'm shaking him. He's like, I promise you. And like, my little Sophie was 9 years old, and I'm shaking her. "Promise me we'll love Jesus every day of your life. And this won't change that." And she's like, "Yes, Mommy. Like,
because that would be the fear, right? I mean,
right.
Witnessing your dad fall out of a boat and not come back to life would be heartbreaking. And certainly heartbreaking for you. I'm assuming that it's 4 years ago or so, and I'm assuming it's still relatively fresh.
Yeah, the Lord is so good in his healing. And when you go hard after that, he does a lot of work, but everybody's journey is different. So I have had dear friends who have lost their spouses and met people, and my grandma actually has almost the exact story. Her husband died when she was 50, left her with 4 kids, almost the same age of my kids. It was uncanny, the parallels of our story. And so, everybody's story is different.
Yeah.
I love life, and I wanted to live, and I have a faith in God's sovereignty and in his character. It's the truth of who God is that saved me. It's all the theology that saved me. It wasn't the warm, fuzzy thoughts or the positive scriptures pulled out that people share with you that mean well, or the worship songs. It was actual theology that saved me. And the years I had poured myself into all of that Bible teaching and read John MacArthur's commentaries for fun. And I can't deny that God is good. He created goodness. It is who he is. However you want to say it, it didn't stem from us and he decided to do it. Like, it is who he is. It originates from him. He birthed it. And you know what I mean by that, right?
I do.
Yeah, I don't want any, like, when you're talking about theology, so many times you have to say every single word right,
No,
or people
yeah,
freak out.
no.
Like, so he's only good. So there's nothing, he would never do something not good to me.
Yeah.
I'm his daughter. Like, every part of the Bible says that.
Yes.
The fact that I can't see that in that moment doesn't mean it's not true. So I would sit on the couch I have a room in my house because it's white, and white's my favorite color. It's called the white room. I would sit there and tell my children this. I had been taught in college that where there's no vision, the people perish. And I didn't want my family to perish. So I gave them a vision. And it went like this, and now it's plastered on the side of my house. Who's in charge? The leader always goes first. I said, I'm in charge of this family now. And then the leader makes the promise first. You don't ask anything of your people that you're not willing to do yourself. And so I said, I promise to take good care of you, knowing that if I promised to take good care of them, I would be setting a standard that they would take good care of me and of themselves. And they would have the confidence, as God does, that God promised to take good care of us. I was going to model that. And then what are we going to do together? We're going to stick together. We're not going to eat each other alive. We're not going to judge each other on how we grieve. If we're not all winning, no one's winning. All these kinds of thoughts I instituted into my family, into my children.
They bore fruit, from what I can told me in the past.
Yeah, all 5 of my children love the Lord.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's really miraculous. And the last one, it was 4 parts. My mom's in charge of this family. She promises to take good care of us. We promise to stick together. And then finally, what's your promise, guys? I promise to love and follow Jesus. Yeah. I promise to, no matter what, we're going to love and follow Jesus. And I would just have these talks with them that were based on theology and the truth. And, people would say things like, you can do whatever you want. You're grieving. And they would leave, and I would look at my kids, and I said, does the Bible say we can do whatever we want? No. Show me in the Bible where it says we can do whatever we want, regardless of what we're going through. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do anything stupid.
It's good advice.
Yeah. No, of course, Mommy, we're not going to do anything
No,
stupid.
but you're right.
Yeah.
And it tends to be the, people in an attempt to show kind therapy. Or try to say, hey, it's a special time. If you do anything at all, don't worry too much about it. It's just,
you pay for that later.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
So, you've been you're the children's. I'm sorry,
Senior
I want to
Director
call
of
you the
Harvest
children's pastor.
I know. I
have
love when
no
you do.
problem saying that, but
I giggled the first time and texted all my friends.
So anyway, you are the director at a children's ministry.
I'm the senior director of Harvest Kids. Mm-hmm.
And you love it.
I do.
Yeah, you write your own curriculum.
We do.
And that's and you. I got to be honest. Something that people don't know about you that I'm going to ask you about now. You're involved in other things, though. You like outreach things. Tell me a little bit about some of the stuff that you've been doing around. Like, you're involved a little bit in the city. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Well, I wish I did more.
Of course.
So yeah, I think I like to find people who are smarter than I am and know how to do things really well, that are already doing effective ministry, and hook up with them and learn from them and help in whatever way we can.
Yeah. So you've been able to do some of that work in the
City of Refuge on the west side of Chicago and some other things. Yeah. I wish we did more.
Yes. Well, we will be doing more, Lord willing, in the days ahead. That's great. What's the future look like for Jan Abbatacola? What do you want to do?
I want to share the gospel with more people in Chicagoland than ever before, and that my best days of ministry are ahead of me.
Yeah.
So that's in my job. I want to rock in birthday number 55
Which
in
is
March.
when?
In March, and be stronger and healthier. So I so love what we've learned about our bodies, and that we can be stronger if we exercise and do certain things.
What's your favorite exercise?
Well, I don't like exercising.
Well, I know, but if you had to,
I like efficiency, and I don't like to waste time. So I would say this year I perfected the Romanian deadlift.
Atta girl.
Because it's the most amount of muscle used.
Yeah, it is, in the shortest amount of time.
Correct.
Did you look that up?
I did. I studied it.
Google that.
I did.
What is the least amount? Good for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
The Romanian deadlift.
The Romanian deadlift. The year before that was the squat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in the gym.
I have a little thing in my home.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah. So I learned a lot about weightlifting.
Yeah.
And a lot of little secrets about it. So,
That's good.
Yeah.
That's great. So you want to be,
I want to be super healthy.
Healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In every way. In every part of my life, I want to be healthy.
Anything else?
Let me see.
You're a dreamer.
I do.
Yeah.
I am.
It's one of the things I really like about you is that you have your mind's going a lot.
All the
Trying to-
time.
trying to
Always have
think-
ideas.
yeah.
I always
trying to
have
think,
ideas.
What else can we do?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Want to do a lot more of ministry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do have a personal life. So.
What's your favorite thing to do in your personal life?
I love working in my gardens.
Okay.
And I love trees and flowers, and I have a lot of gardens in my yard, and I love that.
So do you like it because you go out there and it's like relaxing, or do you go out there because is working with your hands or what?
Mm-hmm. I like working with my hands. I like being productive. Okay. I like challenges. Gardening is very challenging.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing what you can grow from dirt. And of course, I'm always thinking when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And my team gets a little nervous when I go on vacation or I take time off.
Because you come back.
I come back with ideas.
Jen, we're so similar.
But truthfully, like my team is all women.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
And I think I have the most diverse team at Harvest.
That's great.
On staff. And they're all smarter than I am. So I love that too.
Would they say that?
Well, they should.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should say that because they all are. Yeah. But I really try hard to hire people that are smarter than I am.
You know what? For everybody out there, it is the secret to your success.
Mm-hmm.
Just find people who are better at things than you,
mm-hmm.
empower them to do their thing,
yes.
and just get out of the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It's not actually a hard leadership. They're like, you're such a good leader. No.
Nope.
I'm just really good at handing things over.
And then I really try to exploit their potential for their sake.
Yes.
And serve them.
Yeah.
And what can you be for the Lord?
Yeah.
Like something more than you ever thought you could be.
Yeah. The people who work with you, Jen, say that you are very much an empowering person for them. So
that's
God bless
good to
you
hear.
for that.
Yeah.
I mean, they say other things too, Jen, but I won't share those now. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
They better be good.
I've heard nothing else. I just wanted to say it. Okay, listen, I'm going to finish this with a...
Do we have to be done, Jeff?
Yeah,
Come
well,
on,
I
this
love
is so
talking to you.
fun.
No, it is fun. I'm going to do a lightning round, okay?
Okay.
Before I do the lightning round, why are you so interested in fashion? You are a fashionista.
I am?
Yes. How are you not? You always have all of the clothes look right. All the stuff looks right. Where did you get that? Is that just a
vanity?
I don't know. You just seem to like.
Yeah.
Like if I walk into your office here too, it's like walking into the secret garden.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. It's a different office.
I love beautiful things.
Yeah.
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 And I love to make things beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. That's very kind to say.
Yeah, it is. Well, you just it's I mean, it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's such a marked difference from what people say when they meet me. It's actually couldn't you dress
Jeff,
up just a little bit, Jeff? Like, could you wear a shirt?
Jeff, I just need you to teach the Bible. I just need you to preach the word. You just do that and you'll be just fine. We don't care how you dress.
All right. I got to tell you something really quickly. I was on this phone call.
Just
the
do
other-
your
no,
job,
I was
Jeff.
on this Zoom call the other day with, and I won't mention the names because then, okay, but names that I would, if I mentioned them, you would know. They're like really well-known Christian leaders. I had taken some medicine the night before for some pain in my foot and I overslept. So I had to join the Zoom call, and the only place I could do it from was from my bed. So I put a hat on. I haven't shaved in a while, barely awake. I put a hat on, and I do this Zoom from my bed. It's on my lap,
Isn't
and
it great?
I'm looking at it. And I zoom on, and one of the guys on the thing, who's easily one of the best known Christian people in the world, goes, "Oh, so this is Harvest, huh?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry I'm late. I overslept because of this." And anyway, it was a Zoom call with like
Great.
9 people. And and I looked around on the different windows, and I thought, one of us doesn't belong.
It's okay.
It's the guy in his bed.
That's okay.
They all
okay.
looked the part. They had their books behind them
Please
and
don't.
everything.
Please
I had a
don't.
pillow.
Please.
Oh, it's so good.
I don't know a lot of famous people like that, so
me
probably
neither. Me neither.
Yes.
Oh, dear. Okay, so Jen,
Yeah.
lightning round.
Okay.
Lightning round. Best.
I'm starting to sweat.
No. Best restaurant that you would recommend to anybody in the Northwest Chicago suburbs, sis.
Regions in Barrington.
What's it called?
Regions?
Regions.
Yeah.
Why?
Dave Perlick is the best chef.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's good.
Best.
What kind of sport do you like?
Well, of course, baseball.
Do you?
Yes.
Or are you just making that up?
No, my son plays baseball.
What does your son play? What kind of position?
He plays a lot of positions. Thankfully, his coach set him up for success in that. He is a natural athlete. He loves catching, but he had a little bit of an injury. So
How old is he?
He's a senior.
Okay.
Yeah. I loved the Bulls in the 90s, of course. Big
Not
Michael
now?
Jordan fan. No, I don't even know who plays on the team.
Do you follow the Bears?
I was
why would you?
frustrated after Neil Anderson, which was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
is a long time ago.
got into college football.
Yeah.
And but
Favorite college?
I don't have one.
No? You don't have any college football team that you would cheer for?
No.
All right. Best book you've ever read, other than the Bible?
That's hard.
The lightning round is coming to a grinding halt with the book.
Can you come
question.
back to that one?
Sure.
Okay.
Best movie you've ever seen?
Pride and Prejudice, the A&E version.
The A&E version, not the what's her name version.
Not the 90-minute or 2-hour one. Like the 9-hour one.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
There's 9 hours of Pride and
It's
Prejudice.
so great.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That sounds like a day in a fabric shop for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Do you like fabric shops?
I know how to sew. I could make anything.
Yeah, but do you like going into fabric
I do.
shops? Oh my word!
I'm a good Swedish girl.
Do you make your sons do any of this? Go to the fabric shop with you, or watch the 9-hour A&E episode?
No.
God bless you.
No.
God bless
never.
you. You're a good mother.
I watch all the Marvel movies with my sons.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had to sit down though and watch if I told you, there's a period piece from the 1920s about whatever on A&E, you'd be in because the period piece. Yeah, you and my wife, very similar people there about that.
Love it.
That's great. So best book you've ever read outside the Bible?
So there was one, I don't have the title right, by John MacArthur called like How to Be Happy.
Oh.
And it was about the Beatitudes. And it changed my life.
Oh, that's great. Jen, thank you so much for talking to me.
That's it? That was so easy.
I know, but I don't want to beat...
you were so kind.
I don't want to bring the lightning down. I only bring the thunder.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
It has been fantastic. God bless you for all the work that you've done here and for how the Lord is using you in your life. And anybody who gets a chance to talk to Jen will be really pleased when they talk to her. Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
It's good to be with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So God bless the rest
Thanks,
of you. I
Jeff.
hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you the next time.